So you're done with the mix. You spend so many hours on it. You drink Red Bulls, Monsters, coffee, but the group, the band, the instrumentation guys, everybody put the stamp. We're good. Let's move on to the next stage. And I'm gonna walk you through the file structure for you to send the songs for mastering. But before we jump onto my computer, there's three elements that you're gonna send over to your mastering guy. In this case, me. You're gonna send me exactly what you've been listening to with all your master bus processing, everything on. Then you're gonna send me a version without anything activated. Yes, everything bypass, limiters, whatever you got going on. And then you're gonna send me another version with the vocal up. And that will go a long way because sometimes we need to manipulate a little bit the mid range to push the vocal a little forward so it sits on top of the mix. Because we're humans, we listen to lyrics. We get it, we listen to instrumentations, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to have a interesting lyric to companion the music. So you gotta have the vocal up. So a vocal up version goes a long way. Don't be intimidated. Don't be a little hesitated. Just do it as an option because you're sending those files at once. You don't want to revisit, open the DAW, and then render another version, so on and so on. So that being said and out of the way, let's jump onto my computer. So we're going to look at the back end where I get my file structure naming, and hopefully this all makes sense to you. So I got a template folder that goes by the month, artist name, and the song name if it's a single. In this case, we're going to work on a fictitious artist named Orca Black Notes. But I actually grabbed it from a client of mine, the actual song. August, because they're working on this fictitious month, the artist name, single name of the song. And this is where all in my file structure goes in. So when you send a file, it goes into the raw folder as in the mix. So in this case, let's say, which happens, I would say 90% of the time, you come up with a creative name for creating your composition and song arrangement, all that stuff. And then you come up with a proper name based on the lyrics or something like that. And I'm 100% okay with that. That's a creative alternative to do things. In this case, this is a song by Bryson Swan that we're working here. He's a reggae artist from Florida. The name of the song is In My Head, so he uses caps. That might be something from his perspective. But what I like about Bryson is that he clearly names the final mix. And maybe at the mixing level, when you have so many revisions, rather than having version 1, 3, or 7, whatever you have, just clearly label final mix. That way, you are not double guessing. This is just the actual song that gets sent out. I understand if you don't change the name of the song, but when you send out the song for mastering, make sure that you communicate, if you're a producer, your artist name, the proper way to spell it, and the proper way to spell the song title. Again, very, very basics, but it carries a long way. So when I get this song, that's the raw version, that's your mix. Then, in my case, I print to a Tascam. So when I record your raw song into Tascam, I clearly name it the proper name of the band, the song, and Tascam in because I recorded into the Tascam. So this is my working mix. Then I got my Wavelab where I have all my file structure for Wavelabs, my render, and then my Tascam out master. This is the official master that I printed. And then after that, I render onto all the different file formats that you normally will get. Your MP3, your video resolution, and then your digital distro. This is mostly what you need as a artist. And then let's go back to the let's go to the DAW. Hopefully this was clear enough and it carries a long way, and I'll explain why. We use Wavelab here. You don't have to understand Wavelab's platform, But in here, I got the metadata for that particular song. And this is why the naming scheme is so important, because I have this song title here and how it was recorded, a 48. And then let's take a look at dynamic and volume envelope. So I'm gonna zero this out. Again, we're not gonna have audio. I got a compressor and a limiter here, and then multiple meters, because I don't want you to get carried over with these meters. They might be a little overwhelming. But let's play. Bryson normally sends his files a little quieter, and I'm 100% okay with that. I do have a lot of headroom on my end, and we have worked in so many tracks together that I know his workflow and he knows my workflow, and communication goes a long way at this stage. So let's open Span, since like a lot of people use this as Span, and he sent his mixes rather quieter, somewhere in between -16 or 15 to -12, which I like that. But let's see what a healthy level will look, and I think we're looking between -12 and -6 on that meter, and we just keep going up, and there you go. It's dancing between -12. He's a quiet reggae artist, so it's not gonna have a lot of transients that spikes constantly, but you can tell that's somewhat of a level of a healthy level. If you're in Pro Tools, a good visual indicator is on your master fader, is to keep the majority of the song dancing between green and yellow, but definitely the yellow should be in every part that has a chorus or something impactful on the song. I think that's a healthy side of setting up your master fader to send out for mastering. So this is reading DBFS. I normally work at K14, so the metering will look a lot different than a DBFS. Same thing with the VU UMT. This one is set right now to a standard VU. But if I change, let's go back here to K14, the scale reads a little different. Still dancing, -6 to -12-ish. And then my favorite meter, if I'm not using the Wavelab stuff, is Brainworks BX meter. Sometimes it's free. And let's turn some things on. Let's turn this compressor that I cranked up substantially there, and this limiter. Let's see how things looks now. So we go to my BX meter. I got him some peaks. Let's just crank it up. There's no audio. And I'm gonna go to, where's my mouse? There you go. Now we're definitely getting some clipping, but that's definitely not a healthy level to send files for mastering. You're gonna trim it down a little bit. And the cool thing about this Wavelab is that you can bypass everything. It drops. And again, back to Span. And then go back to DBFS so you guys can see it. And I'm gonna bypass this. And just go somewhere +5. That to me is a healthy level signal to send for mastering. But this is also so dependent from song to song. So you just have to check, your metering and the scale that you read. If you're strictly an LUFS, then definitely your mileage will be different than DBFS and or RMS or K12 or 14. But definitely send your sets or files in a healthier level. We have so much gain. Every mastering engineer, at least that I know, we have a lot of gain structure between the analog domain and the digital domain side of things. When we work, we have different workflows to gather your volume where we need it. So I hope this makes sense. It's a little insight into my world, but what I want to wrap it up is, let's go here and so a template and this right here. be sure that when you send multiple files or one single, just bring the file name as you want it to be presented for the world, right? So that's it. Be nice to each other and your pets. We'll see you guys around.